Hi there, I'm Connie Fuchsa with Footetitlegroup, where we protect your home ownership. Welcome to Coffee with Connie. Sorry about the confusion. There's a certain part in our town where there's an absolute dead spot, and I thought we had good signal, but apparently not. So let's try this again. A Coffee with Connie, I try to get on a couple times a week and talk to you about things, all things real estate. Whether you're buying a home, whether you're getting a new mortgage, talk to you a little bit about the role the title company plays in the process. But first, let me say happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you're having a wonderful start to a lover's day. I know not everybody is in the situation where they have their love with them, but I do have to give a little shout out to the most important man in my life, which is the guy that is my cheerleader, the one that makes sure that I always give my 110%, who always is behind the scenes kicking me and making sure that I don't give up and always cheering me on. So he is truly the person that makes my heart smile every single day. So thank you so much, my wonderful husband Todd, and happy Valentine's Day to him and to all of you out there. I hope that you have that special someone to spend your day with, and if not, reach out to somebody else, because there's probably somebody else out there that doesn't have a special person in their life. Do something nice for them today to celebrate Valentine's Day in your own special way by doing something nice, whether it's buy a coffee for someone else, just say something really nice to them to make them smile. So hope you guys have a great Valentine's Day. Hey Pandora, happy Valentine's Day to you. Hey Bob, I hope that shoulder's doing well and you're recovering well. So what I try to do a couple times a week is get on and talk to you about things that we experience or terms that we know how to deal with, or we understand what they mean that maybe you don't. And so today, and for the first couple of months of the year, we're actually talking about terms, things that you may not understand, and terms that we deal with every day, and so we understand what they all are. And today I want to talk for a few minutes about the term short sale, because in this really what's becoming a very hot buyer's real estate market and seller's real estate market, a lot of things have changed, and a lot of things have still stayed the same. So as the economy's changed from the housing crisis, as we're coming out of it, a lot of people are looking at homes that may be in a foreclosure situation or in what's called a short sale situation. And I just want to talk to you for a few minutes about that, because you need to, if you're buying a home that is in a short sale situation, you need to be prepared for, the biggest thing is taking time. You may have found a great home at a really good price because the seller is in a situation where they need to sell it for less than they owe on it and a whole lot less than they paid for it. So if on the buyer's perspective, if you're looking at a house and you're saying, wow, this is so under market valued, why is that? Why I get this great house for a lot less than traditionally what other houses maybe in the neighborhood are selling for, and maybe what it was built for originally, it's a whole lot less than that. And so the reason for that is because the seller may have purchased that home when the real estate market was really active and the housing prices were really high, and now they're trying to sell that home and they owe a whole lot more than it's worth and more than they actually paid for it. And so you as the buyer may be getting a really good deal, but there's some things that you need to consider when you're doing this. First of all, the short sale process takes a long time. It can take a month, it can take 3 months, it can take 6 months, it can take up to a year to get from when you do contract to when it can actually close. And the reason for that is because the mortgage company on the seller side has to approve all of the process, and they may require certain things from you and definitely from the seller in order to approve taking a whole lot less money than they are owed for that property. So they require a lot more certifications, a lot more forms filled out, a lot more information, inspections, all of those types of things that can take a lot of time in the process. So as a buyer, you're going to need to know that. The other thing as a buyer you need to know is the home may have some significant repairs that need to be done, and they may be things that you need to pay for yourself, because that home is more than likely going to be sold as is. The lender who is controlling the bus moving forward is going to be the one that says, yeah, we're going to pay for this, no, we're not going to pay for this. And so if you walk through that house and you say, oh gosh, well, you know, it has some plumbing repairs or some electrical repairs that need to be done, you may be paying for those yourself. So you need to go in making that offer on that home knowing that those are things that you may be responsible for. Also, if it has some cosmetic work that needs to be done, typically you're going to see that house is probably in some type of a distressful situation, and you're going to need to take care of those things yourself too. In the meantime, don't take your eye off the market, because there may be something else that comes up that may interest you, that may be a better purchase for your dollars. Sometimes a short sale may have a lot of pieces with it that you need to be aware of and make sure that you are getting exactly what you're paying for. On a seller side of a short sale, unfortunately, this is a really tough situation. And as the buyer, you also need to be aware that the seller's in a really tough situation, and it could be somewhat of an emotional problem to deal with as going forward when you're actually doing some of those negotiations. So be aware of that and be mindful and conscious and courteous of the seller and the situation that they may be in. So on a seller's perspective, you may have a seller who bought a house, let's say 8 to 10 years ago, and bought it at a really high end of that market when the housing market and the prices were absolutely going insane, and no one could even believe that they could sell their house for a certain a crazy amount of money, $100,000-$200,000 more than we would typically see in a certain environment area. So people were buying homes at that point and assumed that the market would stay where it was or continue to get better, and that they'd get some, the equity would increase in that home, and they would be able to sell it and, you know, at least break even, if not make a little bit of money off of it. Well, as we all know, that didn't happen. The housing crisis caused the crash of all of those prices and all of the mortgages and all different types of things. And so because of that, the seller may owe anywhere from $20,000 to $150,000 more than they could actually sell that home for now. And so what the lenders have decided to do is some lenders will have agreed to take less money in a repayment than is actually due to them. And the reason for that is because they realize that it's a whole lot cheaper for them to go through this short sale process and take a loss than it would be to go through a foreclosure, because a foreclosure, they're probably going to take a much bigger loss, and it's going to be a lot more expensive to go through the process, the legal fees and the processes that are necessary to take care of that. So a lot of lenders have agreed to do what's called short selling, and that means they sell it for less than is actually owed on that mortgage. Now, as a seller, a couple things you need to be aware of. First of all, again, the lender is in control. They're the one driving the bus. They're the ones who's going to make all the decisions. They're going to make all of the rules when they agree to do this, number one. Number two, there's going to be a lot of paperwork you have to supply them in the beginning so that they can get a comfort level to make sure that they're making the right decision for the mortgage that needs to be paid off. So not always will lenders agree to do this. And then the other thing is, not all lenders agree to forgive the balance of what was owed. So let's say that you have a $400,000 mortgage, but you could only sell your house for $300,000 today, and the lender agrees to short sale it. So there's $100,000 that they are not going to receive, that some lenders will require you sign a note as the seller saying you'll still agree to pay that back and over some period of time. Now, not all lenders are doing it. Actually, a lot less are doing it now than we're doing it. The other side of it is sometimes if you have a first and a second mortgage, sometimes the second mortgage company won't agree to take less than is owed and release that mortgage from the property. They may require you, they'll agree to release it if you sign a note that you still owe them that second mortgage. So there's a lot of different pieces at play here when you're talking about the seller side of it, investigating what might happen. You're probably going to have a lot more hoops to jump through if you have a first and a second mortgage than if you only have a first. And more than likely that second is going to require you hold a note, or they hold a note that you have to repay after they release that loan. It may not be that whole mortgage, but it may be some of that. The first mortgage may not do that, and more oftentimes than not, it doesn't seem that they are requiring that they have the ability to hold a note for the balance that's owed them. But on second mortgages, more often than not, we are seeing a whole lot more that they're doing it. And they're also making the process a little bit more time consuming and a little bit more difficult because they want more paperwork, because basically they're really taking taking a big hit as well. In a lot of cases, the second mortgage isn't getting any money or just a very little bit of money. And so depending on how much you owe, that's really going to drive a lot of the bus as well. So hopefully that helps you understand it a little bit. On the seller side, just know going in, they're going to require that you be in default. And a lot of people don't want to cause a problem with their credit because the lender requires them be in default in order to short sale. It's not that they can't make the payments, it's that they need to get out of the home for some reason, whether their job's moving them, their family circumstances are moving them, maybe they're in the military and they need to move. So there's a lot of different things that may be at play that may not have anything to do with not being able to make those payments, but unfortunately a lot of lenders won't allow you to short sale unless you have a financial hardship. And so sometimes that may be that you have to not make the mortgage payments for a little while, and that's a little bit stressful too. So on the buyer side, remember that the seller has a lot of stress going into this because, you know, this is a home that they cared about, they loved, they decorated the way they wanted, they nurtured, they grew their family in it, and now they're having to go through this really negative situation to be able to sell the home. On the seller side, you know, the buyers don't always understand all of the process, and so you have to make sure that they do. And both need to understand that this is a time-consuming process. That lender is not going to take a whole lot less money on a mortgage that they are owed without making sure that they can get every single dollar that they can out of the process. So make sure that you understand. And, you know, this all goes back to a lot of the same things we've talked about before. But if you're buying a new home or a piece of property, make sure three very important things that you do the research and you choose very wisely the three most important pieces to this puzzle. You have a realtor that is knowledgeable, understands the community and the area that you're looking at, and also understands and works well with you. You know, you may have the best realtor on the market that someone's referred to you, but if you don't have a personality mix that works well, then it's not going to be a good relationship. The same is true about a mortgage. You're going to be giving someone all of your personal financial information, so you want to make sure it's somebody you trust, you understand, they understand you, and that you can work well together. And thirdly, and just as importantly, you have the right to choose who does your home closing as the buyer. And so you need to make sure that the company that is going to protect your home ownership after closing and that is going to pull everything together and make it a smooth and seamless process has a good track record, has been around for quite some time, and has lots of experiences to make sure that your protection is taken care of and the home you're purchasing is yours and no one can make any claim against that ownership for as long as you own that home. So hopefully I helped you guys understand this process of short sale a little bit better. If there's anything I can do to answer questions for you after this broadcast at any time, you can reach out to any of our team members in Maryland or Virginia through our website, www.footetitlegroup.com, where there's all types of resources for you. There's a buyer's page with all kinds of resources, a seller's page with resources about all of these different things we talk about, and there's also a lender realtor resource page. There's also a title calculator or a cost calculator on there for you, so you can actually go on and calculate closing costs at any time of the day or night. And on the About Us page, you can actually reach out to any of our team members and ask any questions that you have. We would love to help you with whatever you need. Our newest offering that we have available for you is our Welcome Home Guide. We have that available in Maryland and Virginia. It's on our website. You can download a digital version. You can request a hard copy. If you're interested in advertising in our Welcome Home Guide, we are offering advertising to one business per guide, so we're not doubling up on that. And then you can reach out to any of our team members to get that information as well. But it's free to the public. You can download it. We'll be giving away free guides at a lot of our events that we have coming up, and hopefully that'll be a helpful resource for all of you. As I said, I hope you guys are having an awesome Valentine's Day. I love talking to you guys a couple times a week about things we can help you with. And if there's anything else I can help you answer a question or direct you in the right direction, I'd love to do that. I'm Connie Fuchsa with Footetitlegroup. This is Coffee with Connie, and we protect your home ownership. Hope you guys are having an awesome day and enjoy those loved ones today.